Hey everyone, we're really excited that Hotel Bar Sessions now has a YouTube channel. And anyway, I'm Ammon Allred.
I'm Shannon Mussett.
I am Lee Johnson.
And now that we've got a YouTube channel, we can do some bonus features, including something that I know everyone has been clamoring for, which is to see more of us in our studios in our natural space. And we're going to start off with a series that we call Hotel Bar Sessions Afterthoughts, in which we're going to cover from some of the episodes some things that we thought about after. Sort of, you can imagine us stumbling back to our hotel rooms and we're like, I wish I had said. And so now is our chance to say that.
Because it's true, at the end of these sessions, we are like, oh, I should have said that. I wish we would have brought that thinker up. So this is our chance just to throw some of those ideas out there.
Yeah, we're going to do this in chunks. So basically, like every 5 episodes, we're going to do one of these afterthoughts videos. So today, we're going to talk about afterthoughts that occurred to us after recording episodes 1 through 5. So, Ammon, you want to go first?
Yeah, so I have to say that I learned so much and I had so much fun with Lee's technology one, which I'm sure, as you all know at home, was episode 3. And there's Lee and I have talked about this so much, so it's always hard to sort of know. But I am more of a skeptic maybe than I came off across in that. And one thing that I've always wanted to push Lee more on is not just to talk about the phenomenon of AI, but to talk about what the world of AI is. Is it meaningful to talk about what world means in the context of AI? Because that's where a lot of my skepticism comes from. And I had the perfect chance to push her on that, and I didn't.
Is that a Dreyfus question?
Not in the way that I mean it, but I'm sure that Dreyfus people would think it is. It is a Heidegger question, though. Yeah.
The worlding of the world.
Well, it's this idea.
He also wants to know what peasant shoes are going to look like with AI.
What will the shoes of the peasant AI look like? That's a very important question. No, I mean, yeah, I think that so much of what I understand consciousness to be in the phenomenological tradition has to do with this idea that we have a world. And where I'm not a Dreyfus person, I think it's entirely possible that AI, if AI exists, it will have a world. But to me, that's when I hear people talking about that problem, I don't hear that part of it being discussed. And it's something that I really want to know more about. And I think that Lee's account that she gave in our 3rd episode could speak to, and I wish I had pushed some.
Yeah, I'll just say that I think there are sort of 2 sides to this question. There's what is our world going to look like with AI?
Yeah.
And then is there a world for AI? Presuming that we recognize something like a conscious AI or even a self-conscious AI. I think that in terms of what I think our world, could look like with AI, again, I know I've mentioned this book several times on this podcast, but I really do love John Danaher's new book, Automation and Utopia. I think it gives us a vision of what a world with advanced AI could look like. That's very good for us. But in terms of whether or not an AI has a world, in the sense that human consciousness has a world, I mean, I'm inclined to say yes. And I actually, this only happened since that episode, is that there was this discovery that it was reported on MIT Technology Review about these new feeling robots, and not feelings in the way that y'all talk about feelings, but sensation robots. Soft robots. So we'll put a link below this video about that. But I do think that, yeah, there is a good sense in which we could imagine AI having a sense of its world in very much the same way that we do.
What is it like to be a bot?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure somebody's done already, but anyway.
What about you, Lee? What do you think that you wish we could have talked about?
So mine's not so much what I wish we could have talked about, but what I've thought a lot about after. And there are a couple of things. First is, ever since Ammon's episode on art, I cannot let go of this idea. And I think I actually said it, but Ammon sort of made it thematic. But this idea of loving something so hard, and like whether or not that is in fact an aesthetic experience. And I've used that phrase so many times in the last month or so since we recorded that episode. And every single time I've tried to think of it, when I've said like, oh, I love tacos so hard, or whatever,
Me too.
I've tried to think of it as an aesthetic experience. And that was really just mind blowing to me. Also think that there are a lot of things I wish I would have said in Shannon's episode on freedom about and I did say this about the sort of fundamentally humanistic kind of tendencies in existentialist freedom. But I think that those bother me even more after listening to Shannon's like really great articulation of existentialism,
but still too heavily humanistic in its presentation.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm really human biased.
I also want to say, just like finally, third thing is that after the Origins episode, I am convinced that Shannon and I were not duped by this guy.
Really? I've come more and more to think that you were completely duped.
No.
Every time I'm like, oh, I was very right there.
No, I think that after watching it, and I will also say that my afterthought about this has been slightly affected by watching the recent HBO miniseries on QAnon. So it's called Q Into the Storm. But I really do think that it's so good. But I really do think that he was actually brilliant. The what was the guy's name?
Code Monkey.
No.
Oh,
that guy is an asshole.
But he's a brilliant asshole.
He is a brilliant asshole. But no, the guy
Mark Hoffman.
Mark Hoffman.
You can be conned by a brilliant person. In fact,
that's usually how it works, right?
What about you, Shannon?
Well, mine was also about the Origins, because I'm totally fascinated, and I'm even more so after our conversation about the sort of fictional aspect of Origins. And I think maybe it just became even more pronounced when we were talking about it in the nostalgia episode later on. And so I think that I just wish we would have talked about Freud more, which is literally something that nobody should ever say, ever. But I totally groove on Freud's idea of this sort of primal murder and consumption of the father as the beginning of morality. First of all, because it's gory and salacious, and I just think that's cool. But also just because the whole point is it doesn't matter if it happened.
I don't want to jump ahead too much on our nostalgia one, but Emily, my wife, when she was listening to it, she's like, you guys talk so much about nostalgia, you never talk about trauma.
Yeah.
And that applies to what you're saying right here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just sort of, it doesn't matter if these things happen or not, which was sort of Mark Hoffman's whole thing. It doesn't matter if this is true or not. It doesn't matter if this is authentic or not. It still carries the weight as if it were. Oh no! I don't mean to be praising him or anything. I'm just saying that I just think that it's a one more angle into the psychology of the con.
Aren't you guys so glad you get the nuance of our facial expressions now?
I know, it's just reserved for us.
But that really does make the same connection to the QAnon documentary and the QAnon phenomenon,
right?
As well, like it doesn't. There is a sense in which it doesn't matter for these people whether it's true, right? It doesn't,
and it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. It's just it's to borrow Ammon's question about technology. It's a world that's worlding.
It's worlding right now.
It is.
Well, this was fun. I like this. This is a good time.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So we should take a minute to tell everyone. Don't forget to, first of all, subscribe below to our YouTube channel. We will do these Afterthoughts episodes once every 5 regular episodes. Follow us on Twitter at Hotel Bar Podcast. On Facebook, you can check out our page, Hotel Bar Sessions page on Facebook. And of course, our website, hotelbarpodcast.com, where we also have an interactive page. which, Shannon, you want to tell them about what they can do on our interactive page?
So on the interactive page, we ask a question that is somehow related to the current episode we're working on, and you get to provide an answer. And if the answer works well with our session, then we will include it in the conversation. But regardless, we just want to hear what you have to say so that we can see what our listeners are thinking about.
Let us know what else. Send us an email about what else we should be up to, and if you have any questions for us that you want us to answer.
And always feel
so
free
wise.
to email us an audio clip because we love hearing your voices and answers to these questions.
Oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Just do it, you guys. Follow and like us, rate us 5 stars.
Please.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, listeners.
All right. Talk to you guys later.